Bien, mi gente, bienvenidos a nuestro podcast de los Clecas del deporte. Estamos aquí en nuestro programa Perspectivas, donde entrevistamos a gente dentro y fuera de las líneas del deporte. Y en esta ocasión continuamos con el voleibol femenino, que está bastante caliente en estos momentos. Y tenemos el honor de contar con la refuerzo de las Leonas de Ponce, Taylor Simpson. Welcome, Taylor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you have a distinguished career so far, and we wanted to start at the very beginning. You have a father who played basketball and a mother who played basketball, right? Did you play basketball at some point?
Yes, actually, funny story. My dad played basketball at Louisiana Tech University, and then he went on to play internationally in Australia. And then my mother, she played actually basketball and volleyball in college at the University of Kansas. And that was the extent of her career. She didn't go on to play afterwards, but we were brought up playing basketball. I actually had never even thought of playing volleyball until I hit about 13 years old, and that's kind of when we made the conversion over to volleyball. Because the hope was, and especially with my dad, was that we were going to play college basketball and then hopefully play in the WNBA. But that didn't turn out that way, and we kind of took a different route, but it turned out to be fantastic.
Were you always taller than your classmates?
Actually, I was not. I didn't really hit my tallest height until my sophomore year of college. So I was kind of just in there with the pack, and then once I hit my sophomore year, I grew a whole bunch, and then I was taller than everyone else.
Okay. So you were very recruited out of high school, and you selected the University of Nebraska. What called you there? What was the selling point that convinced you to go to Nebraska?
Well, when I went on my first unofficial visit, I want to say 15 years old, and Nebraska was my first unofficial that I went and checked out. And after I came back from Nebraska, I was sold. They had a huge crowd. They had a great team at the time. The coaching staff was awesome. And it also helped that we got to stand on the football field during the football game. So that was kind of a big selling point too. But I was just enamored with all that Nebraska had to offer. And so I ended up going there for my first year, and then I transferred after.
So I have a question here, because after this you went to Missouri, right?
Right, yes. I kind of bounced around a lot.
No, not a lot, but I thought the rule was that if you transfer, you had to sit out a year, yet you seem to play consecutively, right? So how does that rule work? Like, some people I've heard that if they transfer, they have to sit out a year, yet you could transfer and play immediately. What's the rule?
Yeah. So that is the rule if you're transferring within the same conference. So say if I wanted to go from, Nebraska was in the Big Ten at the time, if I wanted to go from Nebraska to, say, Wisconsin, then I would have to sit out a year. But as long as you're not transferring from conference to conference within the same one, you're able to play immediately.
Oh, I see. So you were in Nebraska, and you transferred to Kansas. This was also, Missouri, right? This was also the same university that your mother went to?
No, she went to University of UMKC, so University of Missouri at Kansas City. So, and she also transferred as well. So she went to UMKC, and then she finished off her time at University of Kansas in Kansas.
Okay.
So, I mean, still in Missouri, but not the same school.
So you went to Missouri, and this choice of Missouri was, what convinced you to go to Missouri?
They had actually been one of my top choices when I was picking the first time. And then when I got there, I played that season, but it wasn't really it didn't really strike it hard for me. I was really missing home, and my one of my younger sisters, she had been offered a position on the team at the University of Colorado, and she had taken it. And I was like, wow, this is such a great opportunity to be able to play with one of my sisters. That is just a huge dream of mine. So that's when I decided to kind of make the third move to go back closer to home and have my parents be able to watch me play in a really strong Pac-12 conference and, just be closer to home and be able to watch my younger sister grow up and all of that stuff.
So it was like the prodigal son, right? You travel the world and you return home, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
And it worked out for all parties, right? Because Colorado had, I think 6 losing seasons before you got there. And your first season, they had their first winning season in a long while, right? That conference was really loaded, right? So it was not an easy task. Can you tell us about how the atmosphere was when the program that wasn't accustomed to winning started winning?
So that was really hard for me when I first initially signed my transfer paperwork to go to Colorado. They had never been on my radar before I got there. It was kind of like my sister's going there, I'm going to take this leap of faith and just see what comes out of it. They have an absolutely gorgeous campus, so that's kind of what brought me there as well. But when I did get to Colorado, it was a different feeling. I was used to playing for teams that were always in the national tournament, that were always winning, and took pride in that and knew what they were doing in order to get these wins and to have that winning program and team. And when I got to Colorado, it was a little different. So my first semester, it was a little bit tough. But then when we got into the summer and into the fall, when I was getting ready to start my first Pac-12 season, my younger sister was there. All the moving parts and pieces started to come together, and we realized that we actually could do something special and that we actually could do something really neat and unique for this team and this university. And all the parts came together, and we just did what we could and had a winning season. It was an amazing feeling.
And you had 2 winning seasons in a row. You even got to the second round of the NCAA Tournament, right? Almost the third round, right? I think you lost to Colorado State in 5 sets or something like that. So you almost got to the third round of to the Sweet 16, right?
Yes.
So it was a major improvement for the program. Were you a hero in campus?
I would like to say that I am, but I have to give all the credit to the coaching staff and to my teammates and everybody that helped me get to Colorado. I've said this once and I'll say it a million times. If I could do it all over again, I wish that I would have spent my full 4 years at Colorado, but that's just not how it went. But yeah, I completely owe it to my team and all the people at the university that helped me get there.
So you won the College Athlete of the Year for the state of Colorado, right?
Yes.
That year. So even the state was recognizing your impact in that program, right? And after you graduated, you came to Puerto Rico to play at Naranjito, right?
Yes.
How was that experience? Was it a big change for you? Were you ready for that?
I think I was. When I got done with my second season at Colorado, I had in mind that I wanted to go play in Puerto Rico, and I had seen players before me go and do it and be very successful. So I think that I was prepared in that sense. But when I got down here, I didn't realize how big of a workload I was going to have. And even though I was only in Puerto Rico for a short time because I had some knee issues, I played on a team with Christy Jekyll, who had played at the University of Florida, and we were pretty much carrying the team. We got a ton of sets and were required, in order to get wins, to do a lot of the work. So that was probably the biggest change for me. And also the fact that I no longer had school. So that was that was a really nice part of the deal too. I could just solely focus on volleyball, and I think that definitely helped my game immensely.
You also had some experience with the U.S. national team, right?
Yes, I did.
How were those training sessions with the national team?
So I've actually been out practicing with the national team for the last 3 summers, and then my junior and senior year in college, I spent a little bit of time in the spring practicing with them. So I would like to say I know Coach Cry pretty well, and he runs a great show. The practices typically, they start in the morning at about, show up to the gym at 8 or 7:45 or 8, and then practices get started at 8:30, go through ball handling, and then we do a lot of 6-on-6 work, and he really focuses a lot on the reception and serving part of the game because that is a very crucial part. So that would take up a big block, but they were intense. I didn't know what to expect when I first got there, and I definitely had my eyes open when I was playing against, Nicole Fawcett, who's 6-7 years older than I am and has been playing on the national team for years, or playing alongside Alicia Glass. That was crazy. It's been just a really amazing opportunity for me. So I hope that I still have the opportunity to be able to play and practice with the national team. That's something that I'm looking forward to this summer, but we will see how it goes.
Do you have plans to make the team for the Pan American Games?
Well, I had played in the Pan American Cup this last summer in Dominican Republic, and we were told that there's a good chance if we make that team, which I did, that we would be called back into the gym the following summer, which is this summer coming up. So I hope that if I have a strong season down here in Puerto Rico this spring, that I will get called back into the gym and hopefully make one of those top roster spots for the national team this summer.
That's great. So you come here this season to Puerto Rico, but last year you went overseas, right? You played in South Korea?
Yes, I did.
How was that experience?
It was very interesting. It's not what I expected going over there. Well, actually, I don't want to say that. It was, I expected the practice part to be intense, but I don't think I was really prepared for it to be as intense as it was. We had 2 to 3 practices a day, every single day for 6.5 to 7 months. And I counted the amount of off days that we had during our season was 10 off days amongst 7 months of volleyball. So it was a lot, and also kind of similar to what I was saying about Puerto Rico, the workload was heavy and it was hard and I was tired majority of the time. But my game has improved so much from being over there and getting all those reps that I did, and the coaching staff was fabulous. They really helped me develop the hitting part of my game, which is something that I really needed to work on. And I'm actually hoping to redraft to go back to Korea this next season. So I liked it enough to go back, to say the least.
Okay, so they have a different schedule than Puerto Rico? Like their season doesn't conflict with the one here?
Well, how it goes is it's August through either February or March, depending on how far you go in the tournament, and that would leave me enough time to come back down to Puerto Rico, because I hope to play for Ponce again next year, to come back down for the second half of the season and for playoffs. Okay,
so coming back to Ponce, this year you seem to have a loaded team, right? Gina Mancuso played with you in Nebraska, right?
Yes, she did.
And you also have Dulce Maria, so center and position is stacked, like they say, right? You have an international setter in Natalia. So how do you see your chances this year of getting very far in the playoffs?
Well, I think that we played the Dominican Republic 2 weeks ago, and we had a really, really good showing against their national team. So I think that just after seeing how strong we can play against an international team, that will really do dividends for us during the season, knowing that we can compete with the top. And even just in our first game the other night, very strong, everybody's contributing. And I think that the main thing is we all really get along and we all connect very well, and Natalia does a great job of distributing the ball and making sure that everybody kind of does their fair share. So I think that we'll do very, very well this season and hopefully just win the whole thing.
Okay. So one question. You've played in some very, very good teams. How does Natalia compare with other setters you've had internationally and a U.S. team, Nebraska, Korea? How does Natalia compare to them?
I would definitely have to say that Natalia is the most athletic setter I've played for. She's one of the smallest setters I've played for as well, but she makes up for it with her speed and with her jump and her strength to be able to put the ball where it needs to go, and her placement is very good as well. I've played with very good setters through the U.S. program, Alicia Glass, Carly Lloyd, Lauren Carlini, Micah Hancock. They're all great setters as well. But I do have to give Natalia her props where it's needed. She's very athletic and a great, great leader. So I think that that'll definitely help our team this season in our push for winning the championship.
It also helps that, equal to you, right? When I watched your game with Maya West, you were having fun, right? Like, you were winning the game, which helps, right? But you were also, not harping on errors. It seems like the chemistry is good on the team.
Oh, it's great. I was actually talking to Natalia about this the other day. I've yet to play on a team overseas that has had such good energy, and everybody has just gelled really well. And I think that that's really going to help us, and that might help us being a little bit ahead of other teams as far as chemistry. Just because I believe that if you get along off the court, you obviously get along on the court, and you'll be able to do bigger and better things than you expect if you're not as close with your teammates.
So you played with your sisters, right? You actually played with two of your sisters in your state team in Colorado.
I did.
And now you're here in Puerto Rico. They're still in Colorado. Do you send them pictures of you at the beach? Well, they have snow over there.
I do, and every time I do, they send me back a text. Why are you doing this to me? Like, why are you rubbing this in my face? I actually talked to my sister earlier today, and it is 5 degrees and snowing at home. So I'll send them a quick screenshot of the beach that I'm at, and oh man, it ticks them off. But they're actually all coming down to visit for their spring break. My whole family is, so they're really excited.
Oh, that's great to hear. So we thank you for your time, and we would like to have you participate in a section we have on this program where it's called the Clecas Award, where we give an award to a person, a service, or something that really, really deserves it, right? Like a negative thing. You can give one, and I can give one. If you want, I can go first so you see an example of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Happened last night on the NBA. There's this center for the Oklahoma Thunder called Enes Kanter. And he got mad in a play, and he punched a chair. He got injured. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
Because of punching a chair. So that's so frustrating for the team, for the fans, right? And he deserves this Clecas Award for not controlling his emotions. So do you have a Clecas Award for us, Taylor?
Let me see. And it can be from any time in my career in any sport, or does it need to be more relevant, closer to the date now?
No, whatever you want to get off your chest.
Let me think for a minute. I actually, going off of the one that stands out in my mind the most is also in basketball. I used to have a teammate named Hannah Larson, and we were getting ready to win this basketball game. It was really close, and for some reason she got really irritated. This is actually almost the same story, the one that you just told, but I just find it hilarious. She got really angry because she missed a free throw, and really close in score. We were possibly going to win. It was a huge game, and she punches the floor with her right hand, dominant hand, and ends up breaking 4 of her knuckle bones, and she was one of our key players, and we ended up losing that game, and having the rest of the season was a losing season. So that's who I'm going to give my award to, is Hannah Larson.
So can you repeat the name?
Hannah Larson.
Hannah Larson, you have a Clecas award here in Puerto Rico. But it's just fun. So I want to thank you and for your disposition for this interview. We wish you the best of luck in the tournament. You have a great team, so hope it all turns out. And even though you are going to explore going to Korea again, we hope to see you here in Puerto Rico for years to come.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bueno, recuerden que nuestros podcasts los pueden conseguir en nuestro canal de YouTube, Clecas del Deporte, así como en Facebook y en Twitter con el hashtag Clecas Podcast. Muchas gracias y bendiciones.